Let's sew a Santa hat. I've already cut out the pieces and I've got them right here. So for the pom pom ball, you cut out a circle. This is about 6 inches, 6 inches in diameter. I just used a saucer from the kitchen to trace this out. For the body of the hat, you cut out two triangles. Triangle measures 15 inches high by 12 inches wide. And you want two triangles. And for the band that goes around the hat, cut out a piece of fabric that's 24 inches wide by 8 inches. So 24 by 8. And the fabric I'm using, this is just the faux fur, but it does have a little stretch to it. And you also want this to have some stretch to it. And this is just the poly fleece that I got from Joann. So the first thing you do is sew the sides of the triangle. So, and this would be the long sides. The smaller opening is where your head goes. So let me just get these lined up and we'll go ahead and get this stitched. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm using black thread just because that's the last, that's the thread I used for my last project. And I don't really feel like changing it. Just making sure it's lined up perfectly. And because it's fleece, you really don't need to pin it. It's not going to move around. All right, so that's all sewn up on each side. And just going to go ahead and turn it right side out. And just to get this point, to make sure it gets turned out, make sure it's like clean, I'm going to go ahead and clip off the end of it just to make it easy to turn. And I had a crochet hook over here, or you can use something else just to poke in here just to get that peak turned out. And I don't know where I put it. Oh well, I'll fix it later. But you just want something skinny that you can stick in here to get that turned out. So that part's done. Now I'm going to sew the band that goes around it. Just want to bring the ends together on the short side and then a 1/4 inch stitch going down that seam. And still I'm using the same thread. I just don't feel like changing it. Normally I would go ahead and change it to a matching thread, but it's really not going to be seen, so I'm not worried about it. So now that this band is sewn together, just going to open up the seam and I'm just doing a finger press. I want to finger press the seam open and then I'm going to hold it together with clips. Piece of thread. And then I'm just going to sew a basting stitch around this edge just to hold it together until I attach it to the actual hat. So that's sewn together. And again, I just did this basting stitch just to keep this closed while I attach it to the hat. All right. And I want the seam from this band to be on the back. And just making sure I space it evenly around the hat. But everything, if you cut it the way that I said cut it and you use the even seam allowance all around, then it's going to match up perfectly. Okay, so I've got this pinned and just gonna sew around this edge. And I'm sewing with the hat part facing up just because the fur um, could get caught up in my needle. It'll just be a much easier sew if you sew on the side of the fleece. I ran out of bobbin thread. Aww. This is real life. Just a moment. That's one of the most frustrating things when you're sewing is um, you're almost finished with a seam or almost finished with a project, and then you notice there's no bobbin thread. But it happens. So yeah, dang, I wasn't even halfway done. Oh well. Un momento. Okay. I've got that attached. I'm just gonna go ahead and clip the stray threads. Well, I can do that later. You don't need to watch me do that. I'll go ahead and remove the basting thread though, because you're gonna be able to see that and it's gonna look weird. All right, so the hat is done. I've already removed the basting thread. The only thing left is to do the little pom-pom that goes on the end. So the way you do that is you just take your circle using a hand needle. You just want to sew a stitch around this, around the circumference of this circle. And you do like a kind of a loose stitch because you're just going to pull the threads together to draw it close and then stuff it with polyfill. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And it's just a regular hand sewing needle. I've got this spool of assorted needles. I've had it for, I've had it a long time. I don't do a whole lot of hand sewing. Um, but that's something that's always good to have on hand just in case you need to do like a quick fix or fix something small that really doesn't, it wouldn't work going under the sewing machine. It's good to have some hand needles. You want to make sure you knot the end of your thread. You probably can't even see it, but make sure you put a knot on the end, just to make sure when you're sewing you don't accidentally pull the thread all the way through. So we are just going to go around and around, stitching this by hand, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going in and out, and you can see how it draws up. So once we do the whole thing, you really can't see it right now, but you'll be able to see it in a second. All right, so you can kind of see how it is now, and then I've got polyfill back here. Just gonna get and stuff it in here. And this is just regular polyfill, like if you're making stuffed toys or if you're making your own pillows, this is what you would use. So I've already stitched this closed, already stitched the ball closed. Just gonna cut these threads and then I'll attach it to my hat. So now that the pom-pom ball is done, I'm just gonna go ahead and attach it to my hat. You can either hand sew it or use a hot glue gun or E6000 just to glue it on here. Good thing about making these hats yourself is, one, you can probably use up some scraps of fabric that you have already in your stash. Also, if you're going with a certain color scheme for your holiday decorations, you can easily sew a hat to match. Like I made this one earlier today, and this I saw a hat like this, like a red hat with a cheetah print trim on Amazon for $16.99. So you can make some for your whole family for less than $16.99, especially right now since the stores all have this red fleece on sale. And if you you can probably look up and get some faux fur as a remnant. This is fleece. So the fleece I know is on sale at a lot of the major stores. And you can make it in different colors. Like I've got a black one. Where's my black one? So this is a black one that I made last year, and this is just a faux fur that I got probably from Joann. And this black is just a plush fabric. It's not really fleece. It still has some stretch to it, but it has more of a velvety feel. But this is one that I made last year, and it's still in good condition. Yeah, but you can make that in whatever color you choose. You can also personalize it. So if you have like a Cricut or an embroidery machine, you can put the name on here, or you can get like some iron-on letters from anywhere. You can get the iron-on letters. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I know I didn't say it before, but my name is Danielle. I enjoy sewing and DIYs and crafting and all that good stuff, and I share it here on my channel. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, if you like the video, please give it a like, and leave me a comment and let me know if this is something you might be trying. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.